So it's way later than it should be, but I'm finally going to talk about #FreeKesha. But more significantly than that, I'm going to talk about why Free Kesha is a reflection of our current society. Okay? I don't care if it's okay with you or not. So, #FreeKesha, for those of you who have somehow managed to stay uninformed, is a response to the fact that on Friday, Kesha lost, first of all, this is Kesha as in the musical powerhouse Kesha, who produced songs like TikTok and Blow and Timber. Or, yeah, that was Kesha, right? Yeah, I think. And so she works with a producer named Dr. Luke, and she signed into this contract when she was 19 years old. And she went to court to be released from her contract. Not even to press charges, but to be released from her contract on the grounds that over this 10-year period, Dr. Luke has harassed, abused, manipulated, and raped her. And on Friday, she lost this sort of preliminary hearing, and it's going to court, but it doesn't look favorable for Kesha. And it's clear from the pictures taken as she heard the verdict that she was very emotional, and different people will tell you why. Different people believe different things. There are primarily two camps. The first camp believes that Kesha is trying to get out of her contract for whatever number of reasons, whether it be trying to pursue a better deal or just wanting more creative freedom, and she is using rape as a sort of way to sort of make that an acceptable thing. And then the other camp is filled with people who believe Kesha has been abused and raped and is just trying to protect herself by getting away from her abuser. And the camp you fall into has everything to do with social media these days, or will affect your social media a lot these days. The problem is, of course, the first crime was committed 10 years ago, and evidence has surfaced that Kesha denied that Dr. Luke had ever given her a roofie, and one of her claims is that he raped her while she was under the influence of a roofie. But of course, Kesha is claiming that she was 19, and she was under all of this pressure to keep quiet, and so she did what she thought was best for her career instead of what was clearly best for her. And I think it's not necessarily about Kesha at this point. And, well, okay, first of all, I'm very much in the business of believing Kesha and in the business of believing victims. And I know that gets us into trouble with, like, false rape accusations, but false rape accusations comprise 2 out of every 1,000 cases. So that's 0.1%. And that's not nothing, but it's far more damaging to not believe somebody who has been raped, because the number of rapes that go to trial and then are dismissed is mind-boggling. But what's even more mind-boggling is the number of people who never go to court in the first place because they know they will not be believed. And so the courts are demanding that Kesha produces evidence of this crime that was committed 10 years ago. But for those of you who don't know, all of the evidence of rape is on the body, and the process of collecting that is rather traumatizing for victims, especially because of how recently they were attacked. And so there's no way she can produce this evidence. So it has become a case of he said, she said. And a lot of people dismiss Kesha's claims on the grounds that she's such a sexually promiscuous woman that if she did engage in sex, or if there was any intercourse there, that it must have been consensual. And I think this case really reflects how society views women in general. It views women who have sex a lot as somehow incapable of wanting to refuse. It views 19-year-olds both as infants who cannot be responsible for anything, and yet also as full adults who must be held responsible for everything. And like, I'm not 19 yet. I'm barely 18. But I can't imagine what I would do if someone, and I mean, I'm not a girl either, so like, this is not a good analogy, but I don't know if anyone can really imagine how they would react if the person in control of potentially their entire lives raped them, and then they were presented with the opportunity to confess, which would mean destroying potentially their entire career. I am filled with nothing but the deepest sympathy I can muster. And I, like, not sexually. I have been physically abused in the past, and I know it took a long time for me to, like, come to terms with that and talk about it. And I'm not in the business of naming names or anything on here, but it took forever for me to talk about that. And so I totally understand why it would take Kesha forever to understand and to come to terms and to then bring it to light. And I just wish that there was some way in which it was easier to convict rapists while not making it easier to falsely accuse people and have them actually go to jail. Because at the moment, an accusation can destroy a man's, or a woman's, whatever, or non-binary person's career and livelihood. In the case of Dr. Luke, it clearly isn't, but a lot of times with average people instead of celebrities, it does. And I feel like there has to be a better system than what's going on now. But I also feel like nobody knows what that is. And most of all, I guess I just wanted to say, Kesha, if by some chance you happen to see this video, I stand with you. Was this video informative? Leave a like. Was it inflammatory? Leave a comment. Was it intriguing? Subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter or Tumblr using the hashtag AskAzaria or the direct messaging system on Twitter and the asks on Tumblr to be featured in our next Just Asking Monday, which is going to be the 29th. I hope you have a great day.